Had a panic spell there a little bit ago. We opened up the songbooks. I couldn't see. I'd forgotten, left my glasses in the car. So I'm back on track, I reckon. This morning, John talked about the nature of farming and the perils that it can thrust on you. All the possible things can go wrong, and I did have hay down, and still do unless it's been baled in the last half hour. But he told me that they had rain today, and we didn't get a drop. While we were baling hay, the west was black and the east was lightning, and there was like blue sky parted right down the middle. And I apologize, as hard as this is to get up here in front of you guys. One of my biggest fears is that between the time you prepare your lesson and you actually give it, somebody says something similar to what you're going to say. And Jeff's lesson this morning was on Ecclesiastes 3, and my heart hit the floor because that's where I've been studying. So maybe there's a reason that you're going to hear that twice. I have a question for you. If you could have anything you wanted, what would you want more of in this life that you don't have now? Would it be a bigger house? I mean, society says bigger is better. Would it be more cars in the driveway? That always impresses the neighbors. How about fame? All the celebrities have their fame and people flock to them as if they're gods. Or how about money? Money solves all problems, right? That's what society would lead us to believe. But when I think about some of the things I'd like to have more of, it's time. There's never enough time. How many times do we say in a day, man, I just wished I had the time to do this or do that? There's 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, and 8,760 hours in a year. And that's all you get. So if you ever wish for more time, it ain't going to happen. But God, in his infinite love, mercy, and grace, he gives us enough time. Enough time to study his word, to learn more of him and how he is, what he is, and what we need to do. He gives us enough time to seek forgiveness from those that we've offended. And he also gives us enough time that we would ask forgiveness from him. And he gives us enough time to make a decision about our salvation. We've got the Bible. We need to take the time to read it. We need to take the time to pray. God gives us enough time. But I'll read from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, a time for everything. There is a time for everything, a season for every activity under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. What does the worker gain from his toil? I've seen the burden God has laid on men. He's made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the hearts of men, yet they cannot fathom what God has done from beginning to end. I know that there is nothing better for men than to be happy and do good while they live, that everyone may eat and drink and find satisfaction in all that his toil. In all his toil, this is the gift of God. I know that everything God does will endure forever. Nothing can be added to it and nothing taken away from it. God does it so man will revere him. So when you stop to think about the time God has given us, we don't need more. We just need to use what we've got.